What's going on, guys? I am so glad you're here. I am at AJ's on Main, the bar, located at 651 South Main Street in historic downtown Grapevine, Texas. And we are on the air and live. Oh, well, AJ's out today, but he sends his regards. And hey, I see that you guys brought some friends with you today. That's awesome. It's awesome. Isn't it?
It's awesome.
Totally awesome.
Totally.
We like big parties around here. We love.
big parties.
AJ really loves big parties. That's right. Oh, speaking of parties, I had the best birthday ever yesterday, and I'm still celebrating. But I want to thank all of you that called and texted and Facebook messaged me happy birthday wishes. It was freaking awesome. And since this is my birthday week, it's the first day after my birthday, we're still celebrating. So, what do you say, Tony?
What?
My favorite fruit? Little Shipley's donut action.
Donuts don't grow on trees.
Poor AJ.
Mm.
He's missing out. Here you go. Here. These little jewels. Freaking awesome. Here you go.
Oh, wow.
Take your pick.
Take my pick?
Take your pick.
All right, I want chocolate.
Okay, go for it.
Thank you.
I think I'll take a chocolate. I think I'll start with the chocolate. All right, guys. Mmm. Mmm.
Oh, man, thanks. That was excellent.
Mmm. You're welcome. Mmm. Let me tell you. It's the second best donut I've ever had in my life. The first favorite was a place back in the day called Southern Made.
I remember them.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, they were like supreme stuff. But these are Shipley's, right? My second favorite.
Shipley's, believe it or not.
Mm. No candles required. Guys, you're so good. Stop by your neighborhood Shipley's. Get you a donut. I mean, if you were here, we'd share, but you can't be here, so we can't share.
Working on that Shipley's sponsorship.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And the Taco Casa.
Mm-hmm. Boy, what a great combination, right?
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
We'd be so
Oh, dude. Can you imagine?
No.
At the beginning of the show, we have Shipley donuts, and towards the end we eat tacos and Taco Casa. Wow.
And then we'd have Andy's ice cream for dessert.
Mmm. Never had Andy's.
Oh, man. Oh, God. You gotta go.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. Anyway, guys, on with the party. Okay, so I got all these comments, and I love the photos that were posted to Facebook yesterday in honor of my birthday. Some of them I didn't realize they were even in existence, but one of the posts, I mean, all of them were great. I mean, from friends all the way back to damn near elementary school. But one of them stood out. Oh, Brett Wells, he said something to the effect of party like you're in Louisville. Well, let me tell you, back in, I don't know, 11, 12, I don't remember. It's been so long ago. Brett and I worked together, and we were in Louisville, Kentucky on 4th Street after a day of work. We were on 4th Street enjoying our dinner, and got into some Grey Goose at the Hard Rock Cafe bar. And that's probably all I got to say, guys. Anyway, the bartender, the next day, I realized he sent back with us this glass from the Hard Rock, Louisville, Kentucky. And he wrote on there, I don't know if you can read it, but he wrote on there, that was a whole flock of geese. And then he signed it. I don't know if that dude's still around, but Brett Wells is, and Brett was sitting right there next to him, and he remembers. So we started with Coronas and then graduated to Grey Goose and into the night there. And actually, you know, that old saying about, you know, you never leave one man behind. Well, I got left behind. I think Brett got tired of me. Anyway, here's the receipt from that night. I won't even tell you how much that is, but
So does that mean you drank the whole bottle?
that means
That's a whole flock of geese?
that means, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we were pretty messed up. So anyway, Brett, that was a great memory, and thank you for that. Brett always brings that up every year. I appreciate it, Brett. All right, guys, my featured guest today is Martha Davis. Martha Emily Davis, born January 19th, 1951, is an American rock and new wave singer-songwriter from Berkeley, California. She is most famous for being the lead singer of the band The Motels, but has also made several solo albums, contributed many songs to motion pictures. She's been on television and even worked on stage with Teatro Zinzani. That's right, guys. The Motels, led by front woman and lead singer Martha Davis, are best known for the singles Only the Lonely and Suddenly Last Summer, each of which peaked. Wow, this must be the sugar. Each of which peaked at number 9. Yeah, number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. Oh my gosh. Interruptions. I'm going to get this right yet. Each of which peaked at number 9 on the Billboard. I cannot talk today.
Dude, you need a shot.
Dude, okay, I do need a shot. Here, we'll do that. You ready?
All right.
Okay. This is for a successful show.
And a calm tongue.
That's right. Here we go. Had a little Tito's, and
Yeah.
you had,
Oh, organic vodka or something.
oh yeah, I poured you something new.
I like it.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's better than shooting Tito's.
yeah,
I don't know how it mixes with a drink, but
yeah. Anyway, each of which peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1982 and 1983 respectively. In 1980, the Motels song Total Control reached number 7 on the Australian chart for 2 weeks, and their song Danger reached number 15 on the French chart. And here she is now.
Hi, this is Martha Davis from the Motels, and you're watching DC's Barside Jive.
Anything wrong? Okay, well, let me call you back. I'm real busy. All right, bye. Sorry, it's my mom. Moms are important, right?
yeah,
You
mine is.
You drop what you're doing when it's mom. Okay, so I do appreciate Martha and look forward to having her here on the show in just a few minutes. Thanks, Martha. This is about the time of the show when I turn to AJ and ask him, what are we drinking, AJ? Well, AJ's not here, so we're drinking, I believe this is called Pantera. By Texas Ale Project. And it's in a Sierra Nevada glass, which is probably a huge sin. Pantera. You guys remember Pantera? In fact, I've got an interview in my rock and roll playlist on YouTube with Terry Glaze, original singer with Pantera. Local band out of Arlington, Texas.
The most rock and roll night of my life I spent with Vinnie Paul of Pantera.
Did you? Were you sober?
Negative. And I went straight to work the next morning.
Really?
Yes.
It was a pretty crazy night, wasn't it?
It was.
Very crazy night. Crazy guys. Gone too soon.
Yes.
Way too soon. Well, guys, in addition to my guest segment, which comes, later in the show, like you know, unless you're new, I've got some unconventional news, some non-traditional weather, some unheard of sports, and traffic that sure make you go, what the hell did I just see? Delivered with that edginess and rawness that you crave, because we know you do. But you won't get it from those imbeciles over at the regular one-sided propaganda machine churning out the false facts on both sides of the aisle. Some of our stuff is satire. This is your warning. Some of our stuff is satire with a thread of truthism thrown in, but the difference in us and those guys is we're entertaining. I mean, we make fun of everybody. I mean, when there's an opportunity, and let me tell you, there's mucho opportunity going on these days, kiddies. So hang on. As the great philosopher Steven Tyler says, you don't want to miss a thing. Oh, and be sure to stick around till the very end of the show, because I leave that little space for Tony, our production guy, and he always sticks something very special at the butt end of the show. So there you go. Oh, by the way, I've got some totally useless information, guys. It's all about Alaska. All about Alaska.
Is it?
What does that say, Tony?
People in sleeping bags are the soft tacos of the bear world.
That's true. They are. Alaska is the only state whose name is on one row on a keyboard. Check it out. Check it out. Tony's checking it out now. What do you say? Yeah. Only state whose name is on one row on a keyboard. That would be absolutely four.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you repeat. Yeah. You're right, man. You're right. Hey, check it out. It's true. You learned it right here. It may be worthless, but hey, knowledge is power. Did you know that Alaska is also known as the last frontier? Only 1/3 of the land in the entire state, I repeat, only 1/3 of the land in the entire state has been defined by cities and towns, leaving a vast expanse of undisturbed, remote landscape for bears to roam and to eat the freaking people that invade their space. Now guys, if you want to share your worthless information with us, or if today is your birthday and you want us to sing happy birthday, well, give us a call on the bar phone. AJ's not here, but we'll still take your call, maybe. 469-844-1631 is the number. Again, it's 469-844-1631. Oh.
Hey, did you know Alaska has only been a state since 1959?
No.
I didn't realize.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's not worthless.
No.
That's important information.
I've got a car older than that.
Wow. I mean, it's like this country. Not even a few hundred years old.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's like you. You're not even 100 yet.
No, not yet. But I guarantee you, we'll be celebrating my 100 right here on Barside Jive.
At AJ's?
At AJ, I'll be drinking a shot. Oh, let's see. How many shots did AJ say to drink for me?
I don't know.
It had to be more than one.
I know there was a 1 in there. I'm not sure if there was a 0 or not.
It had to be more than one. Okay, I gave y'all the number, right? 469-844-1631. I guess I did. I don't even know where that phone is.
I can't make it ring. I'm trying.
Are you? I don't know where that phone is.
How about a donkey instead?
Oh, there it is.
I can't make the donkey work either. I don't know. It's up at the computer.
Okay, I got the phone. Did you try it? I don't know. Anyway, it's supposed to work. Anyway, remember guys that knowledge is power. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel where you can gain more knowledge. Just search Barside Jive Live at youtube.com and click subscribe, and then click that little bitty bell.
I was like a second early. Can you believe it?
Did you really?
Yes. It's the only audio that's working at the moment, so. I can't wait to see what that sounds like.
To receive notifications when I post my premium content, which is free to all of you guys because you guys are just freaking premium people. That's right. And now an important PSA from our friends over at the Atlanta Genital Institute.
Your testicles and you. Take a good look. These are the unlucky ones. These unfortunate souls are suffering from ESS, enlarged scrotum syndrome. Here at the Atlanta Genital Institute, teams of doctors are at work around the clock to cure this dreaded affliction. Hi, I'm Dr. Zillman, and I'd like to talk to you about your testes. The human testicle is not unlike a balloon. Sometimes it is empty. And sometimes it is full. And sometimes, maybe this will help you understand. Just remember that your testicles, when treated with love and care, will give you years of maintenance-free service. But if abused, well, the inevitable conclusion. So next time, do the smart thing. Don't let anything come between your testicles and you. Thank you.
Oh, hey guys. Which is better, the glazed or the chip? That PSA always makes me want to cough for some reason.
Turn your head.
Oh yeah, COVID.
No, turn your head and cough, please.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Speaking of testicles, did you hear about the guy who dipped his testicles in glitter?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Oh!
Pretty nuts?
I get it.
You get it?
Not
Yeah.
bad, not bad.
Okay, so hold the applause, because it's time again for that. I still want to call for that segment with all those big ass raving reviews. Our breaking news. Our top news story straight in from the Barside Jive news desk. White House staff confused about who's still peeing on the floors after Biden's dogs were removed. Washington, D.C. White House cleaning staff are bewildered. They wanted me to say fluxumed. or
Never heard that.
flummoxed. Flummoxed.
Flummoxed.
But I don't like that word, so I use bewildered.
No, our audience isn't that sophisticated.
No, they don't even know what flummoxed is.
Never heard of it.
About who is still peeing all over the floors of the Oval Office after President Joe Biden's dogs were removed for bad behavior. Still coughing, brother. According to White House Rug Sergeant Phil McElface, who said,
Sergeant.
"This is a big mystery. We're sure we got rid of all the animals who would do such a thing. But without fail, every day a new pee stain shows up somewhere in the West Wing." Biden's dogs, Major and Corruption, were removed from the White House after bad behavior. Major had a minor biting incident, and Corruption ate all of White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki's nose one day, leaving her helpless at yet another press conference. What animal could be getting in the White House and desecrating this sacred place? This is really starting to bug me, McElface added. Psaki will circle back on this story if there are any new developments. And I'm sure right here at Barside Jive we'll be the first to know. All right, also in the news, a deep dive, I love taking those deep dives, into the $2 million infrastructure proposal reveals some interesting items.
It's a trillion, not a million.
It's trillion? Did I say million?
You did.
You know, you can't, no, it says 2 trillion.
Yeah, you said 2 million.
Oh, let me start over.
I would do it again.
I was fixing to blame the team for that. A deep dive into the $2 trillion infrastructure proposal reveals some interesting items. It's a big one. It will probably be in the top 10 most expensive spending bills to go through this year. So we did our due diligence, as we always do here at Barside Jive, and read through all 17,000 pages of the proposal, because we know if we did, that we'd be the only people, including Congress, that would read it. Because they don't read it.
Took a while.
So we can inform you of what your government is spending your grandchildren's hard-earned money on. So here's just some of what we found in the proposal. $37 million to create a new food group for ranch dressing. $800 billion to develop a few new genders. $70 billion to build an ice wall to the north to protect us from Canada. $15 million for the development of a pause button for online games.
Yeah.
That's pretty important.
Yeah. I'm playing right now.
I agree with that. $12 million to fight odor at Comic-Con. $80 billion to dig a ditch in space, and another 80 to fill it in. I'm serious. 27 million for snap bracelets for Congress people. 10 million for every American to receive a copy of Anti-Racist Baby. 140 million for those cool plastic army men. I love those.
I guess.
Oh yeah, I used to melt them and play like they were injured and shit. Yeah. With parachutes. Oh, the parachutes were the coolest.
Oh, I did have those. Those were cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. If it has a parachute, it's cool.
Yeah, they were cool. I agree with that. 140 million for those. I don't know who's going to get them, but I wish I'd get a few more. I haven't seen them in forever, but I loved them. That's an idea. My birthday next year, you guys can give me some of those cool plastic army men. Anyway, 79 million to ensure that Doritos are a human right. 20 million for PSA ads reminding women they can just put on a sweater instead of touching the thermostat. Wow.
That's not as bad as I thought when I heard you say.
Yeah,
Where's this going?
I was thinking the same thing. You know, this is about the time of the show AJ says, "Why don't we do another shot?" Yeah.
I'm going to do a shot of this beer because I want to try the Pantera beer.
Okay, Pantera beer, here we go. What a nice day. It's turning from overcast. Oh, I don't want to do weather in advance. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, man, that was good. Thank you, AJ. All right. Hey, Joe, do you want a donut? You want a donut?
Come
No,
on, Joe!
I got chocolate and glazed. Oh, come on. Come get you a donut. It's Shipley's. Come get you a donut. Oh, come on, Joe. Just do it for the show.
It's filled with
Take one for the
tequila.
team. Yeah.
Hey, we got a bunch of
That's
comments.
how he keeps it.
Christine.
That's how he keeps looking so good.
I know,
Is he
he's-
don't eat
he's
no
pretty
sugar.
hot.
He is. $70 million to make the McRib permanent. $32 million to bring back Crystal Pepsi.
Negative.
$123 trillion to build a new Middle East on the moon.
I don't.
Does that add up exactly to 1.9 trillion? Well, we're not really sure, and I was never good at math, were you?
Nah, I failed.
So, what if it's off by a few hundred trillion? I mean, who cares? I mean, money has no meaning anymore anyway. I mean, Congress spends it without any regard on a credit card that's held by the freaking Chinese. So, go figure.
I hope we get points on that.
I do too. Reward?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not, because we don't have any money to back. I mean, it's all credit. Our trending news, though, our trending news item segment is brought to you by our friends over at Body Action Products. Body Action Anal
Oh no.
Body Action Anal Bleach Gel is a super concentrated intimate area skin lightening gel. It is formulated to help improve the appearance of uneven skin tone and diminish discolored areas of the skin. Ideal for that anal, vaginal, penis, scrotum, nipples, dark underarms, and all other intimate area skin lightening needs. Just for that asshole in your life that needs to lighten the fuck up. Trending nationally. QAnon says Trump will make his move to unseat Biden within days. Damaging photos surfaces of Mike Pence peeking during a prayer. In the entertainment news, Sesame Street introduces Todd, a white male Muppet who is blamed for everything. Oh, returning to normal. The great state of Texas announces they will go back to shooting people wearing masks on the assumption that they're robbers. And trending locally, Atlanta, Georgia. Woman falls pregnant after sexual intercourse with used male sex doll ordered on eBay. Well, there you have it.
How's that local?
Well, it's Atlanta.
Oh yeah, we're in it.
We're worldwide. Yeah. So, thanks.
You're right.
I think it's time for some rock history.
Yeah.
Guys, we love your comments. We actually read them. So fire away and fall back. They drive us. They drive us, don't they, Tony?
Yeah.
We love comments. Hey, it's April 12th, and here are some reasons why this day matters in rock history. In 1954, Bill Haley recorded Rock Around the Clock at Temple Studios in New York City. Many music lovers consider the song the one that started the rock and roll revolution.
There he is.
All right. In 2011, the Foo Fighters released their album Wasting Light. In 1975, Elton John. He started a 2-week run on top of the singles chart with Philadelphia Freedom. In 1971, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and sometimes Young And this time he was in it. Live album 4-Way Street was certified gold before it even appeared on the album chart. Isn't that something?
How is that possible?
Gold before it appeared on the. It's
that is, okay, I get it. Yeah,
yeah.
it's possible.
But that's
crazy.
it's crazy, right?
It's a lot of.
But I bought that album right away. Oh, I love it. I've still got it to this day. Double album, yeah. It's a great vinyl there. Woo! Yeah. Okay. In 1975, Sir David Bowie announced his second career retirement, saying, "I've rocked my role. It's a boring dead end. There will be no more rock and roll records from me." His next album would come out 9 months later. So talented.
He was amazing.
Such a loss. Inspired so many people to get into the music industry. Seriously, he did. He's such a creative guy too. And in 2016, a court ruled that Led Zeppelin, my favorite band ever, founders Robert Plant and Jimmy Page had to face trial in a copyright claim over Stairway to Heaven. The trustee for Spirit guitarist Randy Wolf claimed that he should be giving writing credit on the track. I believe the Zeppelin won that suit. That'll wrap my dose of rock history, which means it's time for... Well, guys, as COVID numbers dwindle, desperate Fauci begins eating a sack of bats. Seriously, guys, right out of Washington, straight out of Washington, D.C. As COVID numbers have begun to decline and it appears the pandemic is pretty much over, Dr. Fauci has desperately resorted to his last option to justify his position, of course, his huge salary. According to confidential sources close to Fauci, he has resorted to consuming an entire sack of bats in hopes that the coronavirus will spread once again. The concerning decline in COVID cases has left him with no choice, the source indicated. It's been determined that the bats were imported recently from Wuhan. His staff is concerned about Fauci's mental health. Fauci was observed carefully opening a sack of bats and then talking to them before covering each one with a little sriracha sauce and gobbling it down head first. Apparently he ate all 17 of them in the bag in short order. It was said that Fauci said, delicious. Much like we did as we ate those Shipley donuts.
Oh yeah.
They're a little bitter, but it's worth knowing I'm doing my part to make sure this pandemic is stopped dead in its tracks. Now, I must say that at publishing time, Fauci was reported seen at a local Walmart licking all the door handles. And there you have it. So, let's do sports. Is that intro over already?
Yeah.
Man, it gives me no break. Okay, let's do the national anthem because we stand for the national anthem. our Middle East sports guy, Abdul Smith, who is ringside at a Buzkashi competition somewhere over in Afghanistan.
Buzkashi, Central Asian game, very popular. You play with a dead goat carcass. They say it can weigh up to 99 pounds. If you're wondering if that was a drone flying in the air, it was. If you're wondering if they have drones flying but they're still using dead goats as the ball, they are. They very much are. You go on horseback, you take the goat and you try to put it in this giant hole. This is a very formal game. There's informal games where there's no boundaries. Let's just gonna need to get that one in the hole. Oh my God, I'm dead. I just died and we didn't score. What a bummer. Here we go. Nice and easy. Red person puts it in the hole. Opponent falls in the hole with the goat carcass. That's a shitty way to lose. Number 5 is going to come up here and get a good block. Let number 6 take the goat, put it in the hole, score a goal. They're excited. What a sport, huh? What a wild sport. They said it originated because tribes would go steal other tribes' goats and then ride away, and then they would get chased. Like, give us our goat back. And they're like, yo, that's pretty fun, all this goat stealing we do. Let's turn it into a game. This dude's got an open lane. He's got to turn this guy. Ooh. Nice little move. Turns that guy around. Gets the goat right in that giant hole. Goes for a fun ride himself. Fist pump. I love how universal the fist pump is. Okay, let's pick up this goat. Oh, shit. Now we're just trampling a goat. Seems kind of fucked up. But here we go. Oh, did I mention the goat's headless? They cut the goat's head and feet off. Not sure how that makes the gameplay any different, but they do it. Bam! 1 point for that team. All right, this guy on the left here, he's got nice and easy. Just put this in. No, wait, I think I'll just die instead of scoring. Goat in. Horse backs out. Not interested. All right, number 4 in blue. Nice, easy target. Bummer, dude. Terrible goat fall. Oh my God, this guy's getting his red pollard on, getting dragged around. That's pretty scary. Oh, I see you're interested in picking that up. You interested in dying? Boom. Crushed. Next up, nice and easy, in the hole. Buzkashi. What a sport.
And just when you thought you had seen everything, Buzkashi, for those that are interested, is the national sport in Afghanistan. And now we go to Foghat country for a word from Foghat Sellers.
Hi DC, thanks for having us on your show. And for you folks, I'm Roger Earl of the band Foghat, and these are our wines. Foghat Cellars. This is a Chardonnay from Monterey County, absolutely delicious, 2014. We have 2013 Pinot Noir from Monterey County. It's absolutely fabulous, a wonderful drinking wine. If you like Pinots, you'll love it. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Paso Robles. All our wines come from Central Coast of California. Steve Rasmussen is our winemaker, though in fact myself and Linda actually get involved in the making of some of our wines. Drink, enjoy, go to foghatcellars.com to find out how to get them. Thanks, bye.
Oh, and if you use the coupon code Barside Jive on the checkout screen, you will get, maybe it should be at the checkout screen. Yeah, and if you use the coupon code Barside Jive at the checkout screen, you'll get 20% off your purchase, guys, and that's pretty freaking significant. including the fact that you can even get a bottle autographed by drummer Roger Earl, the only remaining member from that classic lineup. So get your autographed bottle of wine from Roger today. It's just that easy. PaulCatCellars.com. And it's time again for my weather.
Uh-oh.
No weather?
Oh, we got weather. We got weather, buddy. Don't worry, we got weather.
From your Barside Jive Global Weather Center, where we try to stick to the current weather since forecasts are always so wrong, including ours. Here we go. Local AJ's weather is, it's currently clear and bright, 70 degrees. Today's high is 86 with a 41% chance of rain this evening. Air quality is good. Winds out of the south about 12 miles per hour. Humidity's pretty low, 57%. I wouldn't say that's low. My team. And the sun will set at 7:56 p.m. AJ, you happy about that? It's going to be setting later and later. Pretty soon it'll be 8 o'clock. The moon phase is Trixus Maximus for those nerds out there that like to keep up with that crap. I don't even know what that means. But let's go to someone that does. Let's go to Ashby, out and about in London, for a closer look at weather conditions there. Ashby. Ooh, that wasn't Ashby. Okay, so now let's go to Ashby, out and about in London, for a closer look at weather conditions there.
Hold on, we're offline. Why are we offline?
Plenty of scattered shares in the mix. We'll have full details on that. All the latest traffic to help you avoid those hotspots this Friday morning, plus lots of your photos. Put a bit of smoke, smile in your face.
See, it seemed a little windy over there across the pond. Hey, what did the tree say to the wind?
Leave.
Close. Leave me alone. And that's your global weather from your Barside Jive meteorologist. Kinda, here at Barside Jive.
Oh, I'm so confused.
Guys, the system said we were offline. Maybe we weren't. We don't know.
It still says we're offline.
It still says we're offline?
There's one way to find out.
I don't know. This will drive you to drinking. Or driving a hot rod Lincoln. Okay.
Yeah, we're online. It says we're off, but we're
I'm
not.
still coughing from our PSA.
Yeah?
Our weather was brought to you by our friends over at Monolith Productions. Take it away.
Not today, Brian. Not today, Brian. Not today, Brian.
Not today, Thrak. Not today.
Shadow of War. Nothing will be forgotten.
Okay, we're back. I need a little bell that goes off. Anyway, let's take a quick look at traffic, guys. Beep, 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 yeah. This is about the time during the show I look at AJ and I say, how's it look out there on South Main Street, AJ? And he looks out there on South Main Street and says, well, I just saw a car go by. It's usually pretty slow around here, unless there's a parade or a festival or something big. So AJ's not here. So how's it look out there today, Tony?
Hey, there's a car.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go somewhere where it's more interesting. Let's go to Louisville, Kentucky. No way. I wonder if this dude's there. Where we have a citizen reporter. We have a citizen reporter on the scene of a multi-car accident. His name is Roy Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald, what can you tell us?
Somebody had to be drinking and driving. Look at this here. Look at this here. This is why you do not drink and drive. Look at that. So you see, it looks like they hit this motherfucker, bounced off this motherfucker, made it hit this motherfucker, put the engine back in this motherfucker, swiped the side of this motherfucker, half the fucking cars underneath of this motherfucker, which end up pushing this motherfucker into this motherfucker. Steal more car parts than tore off the window and the mirror on this motherfucker. It looks like he came back, got a control for a second, and then hit this motherfucker. Pulled it back onto the street, came back, and while he was at it, I don't know where the fuck that came from, hit this motherfucker. Followed the trail, swerved around, slammed that motherfucker into that motherfucker, swerved around. Looks like he sideswiped this motherfucker right here on his way out the motherfucker. And you can see the trail of, I'm assuming this is, I mean, I know it's got to be an oil type for it to still be it. But damn. Nipped this motherfucker right here while he was at it. Wasn't done. Knocked the bump off of that motherfucker. Managed to gain control. I wonder what the fucking car looks like. Good God. Do not drink and drive. You will fuck up a whole bunch of people's morning and shit. There's around 8 motherfuckers that's gonna come out this joint and be so fucked up at that motherfucker. Be safe out there. There's some idiots out there.
Thank you, Roy Fitzgerald. That'll bring us up to our featured guest segment, which is sponsored by Hip and Hippie. Hip and Hippie is a planet-loving company known for its high-quality, earth-friendly, 100% recyclable candle line and natural body care products. Don't forget those natural body care products, what keep me looking so good. It's no wonder eco-supporting people love Hip and Hippie, hipandhippie.com. As I mentioned earlier today, guys, my featured guest is the one, the only Martha Davis. Best known as the front woman and lead singer for 80s new wave band, the Motels. I'll be right back with Martha
Have shades on, dude.
You never wore shades.
I know I don't. I love sunglasses and I buy them all the time and I never wear them because I'm blind. You know, you get old and then you can't see, and so you put the shade, you put the dark glasses on, and then where is everything?
I think I first saw you on MTV, but I also remember you on American Bandstand.
Yeah. I was just out playing ball in the snow with the puppies.
Yeah, I heard you guys have had some weather.
Yeah.
Are you in Washington State?
I am in Oregon.
Oh, you're in Oregon.
It's pretty up here. I mean, right now I'm just looking out at a beautiful snow-covered, I live on a 72-acre farm up here. So I got my chores all done this morning, and the alpacas and the goats and the, everybody. So,
I just can't imagine you being a farmer.
I'm a dirt girl, man. I mean, I am not a city person at all. Never have been. And
what's your sign?
Huh?
What's your sign?
Capricorn. I'm right on the cusp. I just had a birthday. 70 years old on the
No
9th.
way.
Yeah.
Are you really 70?
I am 70. I'm a
Where-
crazy old bat, man.
Where's the time go? So what day is your birthday?
The 19th. And it's very confusing because years ago, Rolling Stone wrote that my birthday was on the 15th. So I get birthdays from, you're having beer?
Lady, I'm at a bar.
You're in a bar having a beer? What time is it there? Oh, that's right. It's
11 a.m. Hey.
I'm with you, brother.
Hey, you're my second. I had, in fact, Rick said to tell you hello.
Springfield?
No, Rick Lee, 10 years after.
Ah.
He says you won't know who he is. And I said, well, Rick, everyone knows Rick Lee from 10 years after. I mean, no relation to Alvin Lee, but same band. I had it was supposed to be an hour. It turned into 2, but chat with Rick. And yeah, that was one of my early, I was just a kid. I mean, I was probably, I don't even know if I was in middle school when I was listening to 10 years after.
Yeah.
They played at Woodstock.
I know. That's crazy.
That's huge. And to hear
everything's so crazy right now. I mean, first of all, time is making no sense between this last year and just getting older. And it's like, first of all, we never thought we'd make it, did we?
Right.
No.
No, I thought 50s you were gone.
Yeah. It's like, so here we are. I'm going, and you know what? I love it. It's cool. It's fun. I'm digging it. I'm all over it. It's like, I've got so many projects now. In fact, the beauty of COVID for me is that for the first time in so long, I'm not out on the road. I'm not in an airport every weekend, and all the projects that I've been wanting to get to, I mean, I'm writing a TV show with a friend. I've got a kids project that I'm talking to a publisher about the stories and songs. And then I've got, I just started work on a virtual reality, like musical craziness. I got another project with my old friend, Arthur Barrow, Texan. Arthur Barrow, the bass player from Frank Zappa.
Oh.
And we wrote a bunch of stuff together back in the 80s, beginning in the 90s. And we're releasing a single a month. On the 19th of every month, we release a new single. So we got that going on. Then I got another EDM project with I'm just all over it, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I'm just like spinning plates, like, wow.
Boy, it sure beats the alternative though, right?
Oh yeah. No, I got 2 speeds. I'm either asleep or I'm doing shit,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with you. I'm the same way. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce this show so we can start talking again.
Okay.
So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second to say my spiel, and then we'll keep on rocking and rolling. Guys, welcome back to Barside Jive, and it is time for me to introduce my fabulous guest, the charismatic Martha Davis, best known as the lead singer, guitarist, and frontwoman of the new wave band, the Motels. It's great having you here, Martha.
It's very nice to be there. I wish I was there in that bar. That looks fun.
I'd totally buy you a beer. Or 2.
Or a glass of wine. You got
or a glass of wine. I know. I'm a wine drinker too, so we could definitely do some wine.
Okay.
Martha Emily Davis, I'm so happy. You're such an awesome lady, and you've got such a gift, and your singing is amazing. And those days, the 80s, God, your songs bring back so many memories of that time in my life. I'm so excited to have you here, not just because you're the iconic Martha Davis of the Motels, but because you're just cool.
Well, thank you. I don't know about iconic, all that stuff is kind of confusing to me. They're famous, just being iconic is, I don't know, it's wrong. I don't like it.
Well,
I like making music. I like making stuff up. I like creating. That's what I like to do. And I don't know. The fame stuff that's the downside of the business, you know.
Yeah.
We're all the same. We're all just people. Come on. And
Yeah.
everybody's got gifts and talents and everything. So that part is kind of just a little off-putting for me.
Sure. But you know, the way I look at it as a fan that I was, still am, but back then, is that, you know, you guys, because what you chose to do with your life, you helped us through the good and the bad and the ugly that came our way. Your songs, your lyrics, your melodies, hell, we appreciate that, because you know, without music, there's nothing.
I know.
So,
I'm a fangirl too. I mean, there's people that, you know, like I was so heartbroken when David Bowie died, because he was pretty much the inspiration for me getting into the business in the first place.
really,
Yeah. His
how was that?
Well, because throughout when I was young, I still do. I love so many different kinds of music. I mean, the first piece of music I fell in love with, I was like 5, was Igor Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring. As a little girl, I used to just sit and watch the record go around, and just like it would terrify me, and it would thrill me, and it would make me sad. And it was like that music was so wonderful. And then the first songs I ever played on my guitar were Negro spirituals. Then I got way into musicals, and then I got way into soul music, and so basically, like, I got to David Bowie, and he kind of combines all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's very musical theater. Yeah. He's very soulful. I mean, he gets those. Yeah. So I mean, I just went, oh my God, yeah, okay. And then next thing you know, I was in trouble. I was in the music business.
He was all over the place, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
much,
I love that.
Much like you.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you were born in Berkeley.
Yep.
You grew up there as well, right?
Till I was 15 and ran off to Tampa, Florida to be an Air Force wife.
Yeah, that was pretty early in your life that you did that.
Yeah, I got pregnant.
You what?
I got pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's happened a lot.
Yep. Well, you know, I mean, I don't think I'm the first young person to get a little randy at a young age.
No.
We all know about that, right?
We do, Martha. We do. Exactly. So you grew up in a pretty normal house there in Berkeley. Well, your parents were both in education.
I wouldn't call it normal.
Well, your parents were both in education, and
well, they were both brilliant and wonderful people.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were, and sadly, they were probably not meant to be together. They created quite a bit of havoc between the two of them. I still remember my father's words echoing out across the room. Jane, have you lost your mind completely? That was my mom. My mom, who was raised as a Presbyterian minister's daughter, who was raised in Ohio, who was very, it was all of that. And she got to Berkeley. She was a brilliant Phi Beta Kappa English major. And she started letting her hair down, and she was a very bohemian woman. I think she, more than anything, wanted to be like Virginia Woolf. She wanted to be a writer. But because the 50s, I was born in 51, you're supposed to be a housewife. You're supposed to wear your cute little dresses, your high heels, and, blah, 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 blah. And she ended up...
Even in Berkeley.
Yeah, even in Berkeley, and she ended up just conforming, but never really conforming. And I think she ended up killing herself in the end. And it's actually, her last gift was, I discovered a diary that she had left. And then it was right when I was thinking about doing music. I already had 2 kids, and my dad's like, you got to go back to school. You got to take care of these kids. You got to this and that. And I find this diary of my mom's, and I realized that all her life, she just wanted to be an artist. She wanted to create and write, and she gave it up. And I think it possibly was what killed her, and I just went, well, I certainly don't want to resent my kids and end up bitter and sad, and and so I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna try to be a musician, and the dogs will say, hey, no barking, we're busy. So yeah, it was not a normal house. It really was a lot of chaos. I think that's why I ended up, getting pregnant at 15. I wanted out, so.
Yeah.
But and both my parents died when I was, my dad died my mom died when I was about 20, and then my dad died a couple of years later of the flu. Strangely enough, we're going through that again. But yeah, I love them both dearly, and I miss them. But it was interesting.
Well, you started taking guitar at 8, and then did mom or dad play, or why did you decide to pick up the guitar?
My dad was a very talented, he had a beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the guitar that he brought home was in the basement of the place where he worked, which was off the Cal Berkeley campus. It was a place called Stiles Hall. And he was worried it was going to get ruined down in the basement. So he brought it home, and he was going to learn to play. And then he hired, at one point, this babysitter for us, Felton Henderson, who was a young African-American student he came from, I believe it was Watts or Compton, one of those neighborhoods in LA. And he had gotten a scholarship to go to Berkeley. And my dad hired him as a babysitter just to get him a little extra cash, And he taught me my first 3 guitar chords. And
so he played.
This was Felton, our babysitter.
Right.
Yeah. And he taught me my first 3 chords, which kept me very busy for years to come. He graduated Cal Berkeley in the law department. His first job was working for Bobby Kennedy. He was the first African American working in the civil rights for the government and he knew Martin Luther King, and I mean, he knew everybody. And he's still my friend, and we still talk, and I love him so much, and I still want to make a record with him because he has the most beautiful voice. But
is that right?
Yeah.
And he's still on the bench. He's a federal judge.
No, he's finally retired, and he was. I mean, even up to the end, he was doing stuff that I was like. He was going after. At one point, he was going after the prison system, he was worried about the health of the prisoners, and I'm like, he's this little old man, and I'm like, dude, be careful in there, because I don't know, man. It's just like, but he's just the greatest, and I love him, And there's a wonderful, if you ever want to do some deep diving on Felton Henderson, there is a wonderful documentary about him called The Soul of Justice.
Okay.
And he's a fantastic man, and I'm his biggest fan. So, and he tells people, I taught Martha her guitar. So
sure he did.
He was in the ninth. He was Superior Court Justice for years and years and years. But
okay. Well, who were your guitar idols back then? Who did you want to emulate early on?
I didn't really have guitar idols. The guitarist that I, kind of dug was like Leo Kottke and stuff like that. I mean, it was definitely, I basically sat in my room for hours and hours and just made stuff up. I noodled, and I still don't know, besides A, E, and D, I don't know a lot of, you get up the neck, I have no clue where I am or what the names of the chords are or anything. And yeah, my band's always like, well, what chord is it? And I'm like, I got no idea. I don't know. Because I make up a lot of stuff with just like one finger. And I use I just make shit up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it's, it's just something that, in fact, I have a new roommate here at the house, and he has a 9-year-old son, and I was showing him some stuff he has this little guitar, and I was like, okay, check this out. You can take one finger and you can just and you can make and he was like, wow. And I went, yeah. I mean, I spent years, I didn't learn how to bar a chord until I was 18. I have tiny hands. They're tiny. They're little bitty, right up
Little
there with
bitty, little bitty, eensy weensy tiny hands, huh?
Tinies, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Wow. So when
yeah,
did you realize you could sing, Martha?
I don't know. I didn't. I still not sure about that.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I never thought about being a singer. Actually, I'm a writer. I like to write songs. That's what I do. And when I was first doing it, I was like, well, if Bob Dylan can sing his songs, I reckon I can sing mine.
Absolutely.
Because I wasn't, it's about the story. It's not about
Right.
still my favorite, Tom Waits, and those are my favorite kind of voices,
Yeah.
not necessarily this beautiful. And I was never really drawn to, like, when I went through my folky period, which I did, everybody does, especially if you're from Berkeley in the 60s, but, as much as I love Joan Baez, I was more drawn to Buffy St. Marie or Odetta or somebody like that, I'm not I've never, there's not a lot of females that I'm drawn to, it's not, I don't know. I don't know what I just like to make stuff up. I don't even listen to a lot of music. I listen to NPR every day, and that's,
Really?
yeah.
NPR.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and then I go out and feed some animals. And I just like making stuff up. That's my gig. That's where I'm happiest, And it's like all of the stuff that, now that, I've been writing songs for so long, I can write songs, pretty much just sit down and write a song like within 15 minutes, it's just natural to me. I've been doing it so long, and I've written so many. I've worked on about 3 different musicals that have never seen the light of day, 3 or 4 different musicals, which when you're writing a musical, you write, like 30 songs, and then you write them over and over and over and over again. As the story changes, you have to change so you get to the point where you're just like, it's like, okay, how do I need to get this point across, and I need to get these lyrics, and it's like any other muscle, you get. So now that has gotten to the point where I've moved on to like writing more long form stuff, and because I mean, a little song in 3 minutes is like, that's great fun and goodness. But now I'm writing a TV show, and I'd written a bunch of kids songs, and now I'm writing stories for all the songs, so that it would have an accompanying book that goes with the song, with the story. I just like making stuff up. That's what I do.
You've had a lot of challenging life experiences. You got pregnant at an early age, got married, that was, I know, kind of rocky, and there was some abuse there, I believe, later on. And then, your parents didn't really, I guess, get along. And so there's a lot going on in your life early. Do you find yourself, or have you in the past written about those life experiences?
Oh, hell yeah.
A lot.
They're all there.
Yeah.
That's how, I mean, that's the beauty of music and creating, is you're actually purging at the same time. It's like most people pay to go see a shrink, and I get paid, to shrink myself, basically.
Right.
Actually, one of the lines from one of the earliest songs, like on the first album, that song Celia.
Oh yeah.
He isn't going to kill you. He's just going to fuck up your pretty face.
Right.
That was something my husband told me. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to fuck up your. Like,
wow.
Oh, that's really sort of scary, but it'd be really great in a song. And I'm very proud to be like one of the, like everybody drops the F-bombs now in music, but I was early on that shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, tell me then what your fondest memory is of your childhood.
Oh, I have wonderful memories of my childhood. I was, I'm still a tomboy, and so I grew up at this beautiful house in Berkeley that was this old. My dad designed a lot of it. My dad was very, his real art form was his garden, And so he had this beautiful Japanese garden, and we had a creek that ran down the front of the house, the Strawberry Creek that ran off I think it ran down from the Lawrence Radiation Laboratory, so I'm not sure I'm not like radioactive too, but but I would go
turn
up
off the light and let me see.
I would trace, I'd muck up the creek and I'd, explore nature, and I had a great time. I still love being by myself. I'm totally like, I self-entertain all the time. I'm not one of those people that, and it's so funny because the life that I have now, like the two things that I never wanted to do when I was little was leave Berkeley, travel, and I didn't like a lot of people. So what is my job? My job is to go traveling from city to city and meet a lot of people. And now I love people, I do. But I also love my solitude. I love coming home to where nobody is. I mean, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. So, I guess I got the best of both worlds,
You really are a people person. I mean, you're more of an extrovert than you are an introvert. At least you appear that way. But in early videos and such, I always got the impression you were really shy.
Very
more of an introvert.
Very shy, painfully shy. Scared to call a department store to see how late it would be opened.
Really?
Yeah, that's shy. Like,
wow.
Scared.
What happened?
Music. It happened the first gig I ever had. The first gig I ever had, this is really funny. This is full circle. The first gig I ever had was at a place called Project Artaud in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
The new musical that I'm doing is at Project Artaud. And I'm like, what? That's so funny. I had one gig at this place, and it was on Halloween night, 1971, in San Francisco. There was a naked man painted blue dancing in front of me. And I was terrified because this was this girl that was so scared of everything. But I walked on stage. In fact, I was going to leave. I didn't think I could do it. And then somebody gave me some Southern Comfort or something, and I got a little bit of. But I walked on stage, and I was still terrified. But as soon as I started performing a song, somebody else happened. It was like some other entity came out, and now all of a sudden I'm down on my knees and I'm staring people in the face. And then as soon as the song would stop, I'd revert back to being scared. So it gave me this opportunity to channel all of this stuff in me. And as it kept happening over the years, they just merged, So now that little scared person ain't scared anymore. I think that also happens when you get to be 70 years old. You don't give a fuck. So
yeah. Right. You mentioned San Francisco, you being just across the bay from San Francisco in Berkeley. As a teenager, were you like part of the Haight-Ashbury scene in the 60s?
No, I left Berkeley just as acid was happening.
Okay.
Because I left and went to Florida. In fact, in Florida, they called me a communist because I had bell bottoms,
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was rough, man. It was. Wow. I lived right at the end of the Air Force, right off the Air Force Base, MacDill Air Force Base, and this is the '60s in Florida. It was not pretty. And I come from Berkeley. My parents had worked for the NAACP before I was born. It was not good. I was terrified. I really was, because the amount of just segregation and hate, and I would have nightmares about the Klan and stuff. It was weird. So yeah, I came back in let's see, I left in 1966. Maria was born. She was 3 months old. And then I came back in 68, and it was like it had already peaked, like the acid had turned into smack. It was like, there was still a little flower child stuff going on, free love was still happening.
Yeah.
Which was pretty fun. But But yeah, it was also People's Park. I actually lived right in back. People's Park Annex was right in back of the apartment where I lived,
Oh,
and it was yeah. There was I've seen some crazy shit in my life. I really have.
oh,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
yeah.
Sure.
In fact, I don't think about you never think about it until some interviewer asks you about it, and then I'm
Yeah.
going, man, remember that? God damn.
Yeah. Of all the songs that you've written, and we've talked about quite a few, Martha, could you pick out 2 or 3 that kind of represent the message that you want to leave the world?
Message I want to leave the world. I don't write those songs very often. The message I want to leave the world. I mean, a lot of the stuff I write is a little disturbed. Because as I said, I'm actually working out my problems. And so a lot of the stuff is melancholy, or I have this feeling that when you write, basically, if it's a beautiful day and the sun is out and you're in love, you're not sitting down to write a song, right? If it's like pouring rain and you've got a bottle of red and you're just like, oh, woe is me, you're writing a song.
Right.
So my message is, but you know what? There's a brand new Motels album that as soon as we can ever see each other again, it's called Escape from Planet Earth. And the songs are written. We just can't record it because we can't see each other, but it's beautiful. And I mean, it's a long form. I no longer write, a series of pop songs and put them together on an album. I write, I won't call them rock operas, but it's more of a through story. I don't think you need to write it. People, if you're just going to put out songs, just put out songs. So if you're going to make an album, make it be a cohesive thing. And so I want to have a graphic novel with it, and this and that and the other thing. But that it is a beautiful story and it has a beautiful ending, and it's actually a happy ending. Strange. And that's the kind of the message, it's like life isn't easy. Nature is not kind. She's a demanding mistress. Life hurts. It's going to kick you around. The whole thing is about perseverance and having grace and being kind to people and things. I mean, that's all you have to do. You have to work your ass off, and you should work. Work is great. There is absolutely no free lunch, but there's always dessert, always. So it's like, that's basically my message, is just please enjoy this beautiful, beautiful gift you've been given, which is life. And yes, it's going to kick your ass. Yes. And every time it does, you learn something. Every time you get your ass kicked, that's when the messages come in. That's when you learn. That's when you get taught. You get schooled is more like it. But yeah, I love life. It doesn't matter how many times it will upend me, and it has done that many times. It's glorious,
So we'll look forward to the new album.
Yes, you will, as soon as we can see each other. Yeah, it's going to be it's a wonderful album. It's really, I can't wait. I'm really thrilled. So
is it full of positivity?
No, of course not. It's me. It's negative, and then a happy ending. No, it's like life. You go through a lot of hard stuff, but at the end, it can really, it can be beautiful. I think that, probably life is such that, on your deathbed, you're going, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always said this, that, as we get older, we get wiser. And about the time you get shit figured out, you die. How ironic is that, right?
Yeah. But, there's, I'm also a firm believer in just the energy. I mean, I love science, and so, I mean, you can't destroy energy at all.
Right.
I mean, you just can't. It might change into something else, but we are definitely beings of energy, and you know, we're all from the same stardust, and it's just, you know, because I spend so much time, the only magazine I subscribe to is New Scientist. It's out of England, and I just love science so much. And the more science you read, the more, I mean, just like anything is possible. How many dimensions do you want? I don't know, a million. You know, it's like it's you get into like crazy quantum physics, and it's just like all bets are off. Everything's cool. You know.
So do you believe in life on other planets?
I don't think that there's any way possible there's not life on other planets.
Yeah.
I just really don't believe that's even conceivable with the amount of plant and life as we know it, maybe not, but definitely something's going on.
Right.
They're actually finding, the more discoveries, the more exoplanets, you know, we're trying to discover this. It just seems like it would be ridiculous not to have life. You know, they probably look at us and just go, pass.
No. Yeah. Probably so.
They need to go back in the oven for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of rewinding here, Martha. The Warfield Foxes, was that your first band?
Yep. That was the band that was playing when the naked man was painted blue dancing in front of me. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
that's what we were called at first, and then we moved down to Los Angeles as the Angels of. We got, somehow Dean thought that Warfield Foxes we turned into the Angels of Mercy for a few minutes. And I really didn't like that name because I figured we should be like serving soup or giving people blankets. I mean, we should be we're not Angels of Mercy. And we were driving to our first gig, which was at Barney's Beanery. Have you ever heard of Barney's Beanery? It's at LA. It's still going down there. And we were driving down Santa Monica Boulevard, which at that point was where all the motels were.
Mm-hmm.
All the motorhomes. And Dean looked up and he goes, well, what about motels? And I went, yes. And so we went into the gig and they said, now the Angels of, and I go, no. He said, what's your name? The Motels. So.
Really? That's the way it happened?
That's the way it happened. And then when Dean and I were boyfriend and girlfriend. And so apparently, and I don't remember this, but he says, because I ended up with the name. You know, I remember saying, look, my face is on all the posters. Blah, 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 blah. I think I should have the name. I don't, he says I was in a bubble bath and I just went, I want the name. And I smashed my hand down and the bubbles went everywhere. And he went, okay. And I don't remember that, but you know, hey.
Well, it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's a good story.
Be a good read in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do an autobiography?
Everybody asks me that one. I mean, probably. I really think that those things are, I mean, I feel sometimes like the Jerk. You know, do you remember the movie The Jerk?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My story? You know, how he's just like, my story? You know, I don't feel like, you know, it's part of that fame thing. It's just like, it seems kind of ridiculous. Although it does kind of I have had an interesting life. I just think it's something for down the road a little bit. I'm too busy, you know, just maybe when I get tired of making other stuff up, I'll do something that I don't have to make up. But I like making stuff up more than I'm not a reader of biographies. I don't, it's not where, I don't know. It'll probably happen.
Good. You know, people learn from other people's
Yes, they do.
stories, and it's a good thing to pass that information on.
Yep. I'm not a journal-y person. I mean, at one point I wrote a song about how my songs are my journal, you know, so it's kind of like, that's kind of how I keep track of things. But most of the times I write so stream of consciously that I don't even know what I'm writing about until, like, a lot of times it'll take a couple of years and I'll look back and I go, oh, I think I know what that was about.
That might be an interesting way to write it, is your songs.
Yeah.
Use your
Well, I
songs to
think
tell
if
the
I
story.
did, I think if I did write it, it would be very stream of conscious. I wouldn't
Mhm.
write it, like a very. That's yeah. I
Right.
like to do things different. Yeah.
So your album, All for One, gold certified, released in '82, I believe. It featured Only the Lonely and Take the L, and I love, of course, both those songs. But those songs were really helped by MTV. So I guess right time, right place, MTV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And strangely enough, I really loved doing that stuff. I mean, we were real lucky to get oh God, now I'm just gonna blank on his name. Our first director. Oh God, come on, Martha. Okay, senior moment.
You love doing the videos.
Yeah, and it was really early on the. It was very early on the video scene. I mean, unions hadn't gotten involved with them, so it was very much Wild West kind of video making. We did both Take the L and Only Lonely in, I think, 2 days. We shot both videos, and for like 60 grand, which is unheard of. And Russell McKay was our first director on those, and he's a wonderful director. He did a lot of Duran and a lot of, so he was great, and it was really fun. And I guess it's the same as the songs, because I get, it's songs are like dress ups, like when you're putting on your mom's, like you're a little kid, you put on your mom's or dad's shoes, and they're all of a sudden you're a big person. It's like that's what songs are like. You dress up in these various costumes and in these emotions, and the videos just I would have thought I would have been afraid of them, but I wasn't, because I got to be somebody else other than me.
Right. So you enjoyed the acting.
Yeah. I like being, I think for the longest time I was just uncomfortable being me. And so it was very nice to be able to be somebody else.
Right. And then, of course, your fourth gold certified studio album, Little Robbers, you guys had the hit song, what was it? Suddenly Last Summer. Right. Or which of those videos did you enjoy the most?
Of the videos, I think I really enjoyed the Russell McKay, like Only Lonely, I think was, and it's funny because Russell was like, he is a very crazy and wild guy, and I loved him. And his concept for the Only Lonely video was, I remember he's saying, what about if we get a giant like martini glass, and we'll go to the desert, and you'll be in this martini glass. And I went, whoa. And so I was like, what if we just, if we kind of collaborate. I kind of had to bring him back.
Yeah.
But I like that one, I think, better than the Suddenly Last Summer one. Suddenly the Last Summer one had a lot of problems to me, but.
Oh, did it?
For me, I mean, I'm a very visual person. That's what I wanted to be when I was young. I wanted to be an artist, and I'm very involved in the artwork and the this and and the videos, and I'll storyboard stuff, and it just sometimes you have such a vision of something, and it just it misses somehow. To me, Suddenly sort of missed, and Only Lonely didn't. Only Lonely hit. So yeah.
Great videos.
And then I got to work with David Fincher when he was just a young upstart, and that was fun. And now he's David Fincher, right?
Right.
Yep. Well, he did the Shame video, and the Tell It to the Moon video, and Don't Tell Me the Time video. We worked together on those ones, so that was fun. Great directors are so wonderful. I mean, it's just you watch them talk, and it's just like they're just like you can you can literally see the visuals in their mind. They're it's so
Right.
great.
You had some great stuff, and you guys were all over MTV, as I recall.
Yeah, it was lucky. It was a very lucky thing. And there was that, that song, Video Killed the Radio Star. I mean, I think that there's a bit that, that was true with that, which is too bad, like I think that all of a sudden we became very obsessed with, what we looked like and this and that and the other thing. And
Right. But it
so,
sure was good for exposure, though.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Gosh.
And now I guess everybody just YouTubes, and
Yeah.
that's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody misses the MTV. I mean, I don't play a gig anywhere, and I always go out afterwards and sign and do stuff. And there's not a gig that I do that people don't go, why don't they bring back MTV?
Oh, I know.
People loved it so
Oh,
much.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
I still see all the VJs and stuff all the time.
do you?
Well, not all the time, but the last gig I did in 2020 was in March. Like March 11th, I left a cruise ship, an 80s cruise ship with Richard Blade, Nina Blackwood,
Oh, yeah.
everybody, so.
Yeah. You are watching Barside Jive with my guest, Martha Davis, best known as the lead singer and frontwoman of new wave band, The Motels. Martha, your songs, Only the Lonely and Suddenly Last Summer, bring me back to a really good place in my life in the early 80s. But, there was a lot of other songs that you guys did that I loved. Shame, Danger, Total Control, Take the L, Celia.
Mm-hmm.
Mission of Mercy. There was a bunch. Which of those songs that you guys recorded had maybe a really cool backstory?
I think Suddenly Last Summer. Well, Total Control was interesting because I wrote that as a punk rock song when the original guitar player Dean and I had broken up, and I was kind of heartbroken, and I was, how you get heartbroken, then you get angry. So it was like looking counterclockwise, knowing what could happen any moment. Maybe you, maybe even you. Stand fast, cold, loud, song, certain any moment. So that's what was. And then Jeff Gerard, the newer guitar player, came in, and he started just playing that doom, 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 doom. So I took those lyrics and put it on top of that, and I think that's why that makes that song so powerful, because you could kind of feel the angst and the anger in it, but it's so slow and beautiful, so that was an interesting one. That was a good, like, peanut butter and jelly sort of situation. But Suddenly Last Summer was definitely the weirdest song in terms of it. The gestation on that one went forever, because I remember sitting in the backyard of my house in Berkeley, California. It had to be like, we moved to LA, I think in 75. So it was probably 73, 74, something like that. And I was sitting in the backyard, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and sitting on the lawn. And all of a sudden this wind came up, and it was the cold wind. It was the end of summer, and I felt like autumn. You could feel autumn. It was that first time that you felt that bite in the air, and it was like, summer's almost over. And at the same moment, I heard the ice cream truck, and I went, that's going to be the last time I hear the ice cream truck this year. It was like the end of the season.
Right.
And I think that, to me, more than anything, that the end of that summer sort of symbolized, like when I got pregnant, the end of the innocent, you're not going back to the same place that you left, it's, things are changing. And so that happened in, 73, 74. I moved to LA. I'm down there for years. And then in the 80s, like what it was, 82, 83, something like that. I'm lying in bed, and this song wakes me up. Da, 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 da. And I know it was, and I would sit down and I write Suddenly Last Summer at 3 a.m. or something, whenever that song woke me up. And I know it's connected to that moment back in Berkeley. And so, I mean, that's probably the strangest song that I, in terms of how long it took, but it also, and the lyrics once again are like pretty meaningless and yet meaningful, because the stream of consciousness thing is like, It happened one summer. It happened one time. It happened forever for a short time. What are you talking about, lady? It makes no sense, but it does, So, yeah, I like that one.
They say that so many of the songs that came out of the 70s were written by mostly men that were under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Do you think the same thing about the artists that came along with the new wave movement, like the Motels?
Definitely drugs and alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? The 80s? Good Lord. It was everybody was on blow. Everybody. It was crazy. That was the drug of choice. I used to say that, figure out where the CIA is, and that's the drug that's going to be happening.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it was a pretty druggy period. And I think, just by way of, humans, I think, there's a sort of a natural progression of experimentation. And when you're young, when you're 20s, the 20s is like the craziest time, because you're supposed to be an adult. You're nowhere near being an adult. You're insane. You're sexually crazy. Everything about you is like, you feel invincible. You'll try anything. And everything is drama when you're 20s. Everything is drama. It's like, it's life and death, but you're not going to die. But I don't mean life and death in that sense, but everything is just ultra like important. And our band's going to go down and we're going to do this. And it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. As you get 30s and 40s, you get your sense of humor back. Shit is just not as like urgent as it is when you're in your 20s. But
right.
Yeah, 20s are hilarious. I mean, it's just like, I look back at me in the 20s, like people ask, who'd you hang out with when you were first, what bands? And like, you didn't hang out with other bands. It was all about your band. It was all about your ego and it's just, oh, what a mess, So now
Right.
It's really fun to hang out with those bands that I never hung out with.
Yeah. So do you think drugs and alcohol had a influence on your writing?
I used to think that I couldn't write, I had red writing wine and I had white working wine, it's like, they do have a different energy, but, I do feel in some ways that I don't need it now, but it's in some ways there was, to get to that point of the subconscious, to get to where you're not. Now I have a phrase for it when people ask, what would you recommend to young people? And it's get the fuck out of your own way.
Mm-hmm.
Not think about, you don't question, don't like allow the stuff to flow through you, because basically you're a conduit. All this stuff is just, it's a mess of what's in your head and everything around you, and it comes through you. You're just a means to this vehicle. And I think all art is like that. I think if you can allow yourself to just be open and let the stuff come through you, and because the most important thing about art is to be honest and to be truthful, or as truthful as you can be, so having a drink sometimes I was amazed to hear that Stephen Sondheim said that he doesn't write anything without a drink. It's like, well, okay, that's pretty nice. I love him, so love him. But I mean, yeah, it's not good to say that you need a crutch, blah, blah, blah. And at this point I don't anymore, but I think at one point it helped. Probably like the same way it helped me getting on stage that first time. Now I don't need that, but there was a point where I probably wouldn't have gotten on stage if I hadn't had that Southern comfort.
Right. Martha, I know your current lineup doesn't include any of the original members other than yourself, of course, but
No, there's one.
Is there?
Oh yeah.
Who?
Marty Gerard, keyboard and saxophone player.
Okay.
An award-winning author, and also the man that wrote your favorite song, "Take the L Lover and It's Over."
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for educating me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, what about the rest of the guys? What happened to them?
There are various places. Michael Goodrow's the one I keep in touch with the most, and he's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I don't know, the rest of them are just sort of floating around.
Yeah.
I don't really, I'm bad. I'm bad. I don't stay in touch a lot.
Yeah.
I'm real busy.
I know you are. I guess they're not staying in touch with you either.
Well, yeah, come to think of it.
Yeah, that's a two-way street, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And you were like the front.
My new band, we've been together longer than any band I've been in. This band is the best band ever, and we love each other so much. And it's 18 years now we've been together.
Wow.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, these guys were just babies when I first,
Wow.
first met them.
18.
And they are such amazing musicians. We have such a good time. If you get a chance, if we can ever play a show again, you got to come see this band.
Okay.
They're amazing. Amazing.
Is that an invitation?
That is an invitation.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be there.
You got backstage. It's all happening.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what, come to Texas.
Okay.
Or a surrounding state. I mean, I'll travel.
Whereabouts in Texas?
Dallas.
Dallas. There you go. We were just there, not well, on the last Live Nation tour that we did in beginning of 2020. It was really weird. 2020 was a strange year. But I never worked January, February, and March. Those like that dead of winter, you just don't tour then.
Right.
We toured January, February, March.
Really?
So, a lot. Yeah. We were on
and you were in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. And our Houston gig got canceled because the water main broke or something. I don't know. But yeah, we were in Texas. That seems like a billion years ago. It truly does. It's crazy.
But it was last year.
Yeah, last 2020. Woo, man, what a year.
Yeah.
2020 was the year of the rat. And I love Chinese astrology because it's about animals. So it was the year of the rat. And the rat is in Chinese astrology, is the symbol of renewal. So that rat came along. He tore it all down. We're going to start over.
Yeah.
Everything got torn down. And this year, starting we're still in year of the rat. So February 12th, we're going to move on to the oxen, who is hardworking and trustworthy. So yeah, it's some work done.
Why don't you take a minute and just brag on the rest of the guys in the new band?
Okay, I will brag on them.
Yeah.
We have on guitar, Clint Walsh, amazing guitar player, wonderful producer, talented, beyond belief. He's played with everybody from Gnarls Barkley to Johnny Halliday in France. And just love him. People he's just crazy, wonderful, good. And on drums, we have Eric Gardner, the Machine. He is like so hilarious. Also a brilliant artist. If you go to the Avant Gardner and look at his collage work, incredible, beautiful.
Oh, okay, cool.
Absolutely stunning. The Avant Gardner, Eric Gardner, amazing drummer, also played with Gnarls. He plays with everybody from Garbage to Gnarls. He played, in fact, last year was great because we actually had him. My rule is if somebody offers you a boatload of money, you go ahead and leave the Motels. I'll get a sub. That's my rule. So if you love them, let them go.
Right.
So he was out with Melissa Etheridge he just plays with everybody, but wonderful drummer, hilarious man, brilliant artist. Then we got Nicholas Johns on bass, bass and keyboard and guitar, and produced the last, I don't know, have you heard the last album, The Last Few Beautiful Days?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Great, huh?
It is. It is. And you know what is interesting about that is that and I can't say this for a lot of bands that, you know, started out in the 70s, say, or 80s, and now they're still doing new material. But you guys sound like your same sound from the 80s.
You know what? It's because of the boys. The boys are all way younger than I am, but they grew up in that was their shit. You know, they love the 80s music. So they love it more than I do. And so like all of the like Nick's got all the synthesizers from the 80s, you know, he's got all that stuff. They love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, and it's like, you know, this DX7 sound, I go, oh man, I hate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they totally are into it, you know.
Oh yeah, it sounds just like it could have been recorded in 80 through 82, 83.
But it also sounds brand new.
It does. I know. I meant that as a compliment, but yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a wonderful combination. We just have something together and the thing that's amazing about this band is not only do we all get along amazingly and love each other completely, but all their girlfriends and wives, etc., are also wonderful, and we all get along and love each other. I mean, it's like such a sweet family. It's just good. It's like the best thing in the world. And then the last but after Nick Johns, who is also, he does a lot of EDM. Well, it's not really EDM. He does a lot of like synth work and works with Ezra Reich, who is Stephen Reich's son. They do a lot of stuff. They have a band called Room 8. And so Nick works with a lot of people and produces a lot of stuff as well. He produced the last album of ours. And then there's Marty Gerard, keyboard and sax player from the original Motels. And he joined the band in 2011. The new band had been going for a while. So he's the new old guy.
Right.
And me and Marty are mom and dad, and then the kids, you know, so.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ask this kind of tongue in cheek, because I know you had a lot of obstacles, but as a band, you know, normally there's management issues or label issues, or in your case, you were a single mother early in your career. Self-confidence sometimes is an obstacle that you have to overcome. So what would you single out as the biggest obstacle for the Motels?
I think it would be management for sure. Oh God, I've had the worst. And and we never had management when we got signed to Capitol Records. We didn't have a manager when we got signed. I just had a lawyer.
Really?
And then Capitol's like, you need a manager. And our first manager was Ken Fritz, and Ken was fine. I still like Ken, but you know, at some point that didn't work out. Then Val Garay, who was the producer on the All for One and the Little Robbers album, and you know, he somehow talked me into letting him manage, and that was bad. That was not good. He wanted to be all things, you know, he wanted to direct the videos and be the manager and do the production, and it just got a little megalomaniacal for me. So then, and then after that, I left. There was a couple of, it's just always been bad. Then I got married. Well, I didn't get married. I started going out with this youngster. I went all cougar and went out.
I can't believe you would go cougar.
I went out with a guy that was 20 years younger than me, and yeah. Okay, put her back. And he became my manager, and you know, he worked very diligently at some things. He was a really good photographer, and he did some stuff, but it wasn't right, and he wasn't right, and then we ended up wrong, and so that was over. Then I picked up some managers in the last 10 years or so that were all just screwball and crazy. One guy just basically stole a bunch of money from me, and another, it was just, well, now my manager is Franny. And Franny she is actually, she started out, I met her through the manager that stole a bunch of money from me. And she was doing a red carpet. She's a promotion gal. And we became such good friends, and I trust her so much. And she's one of those people that she's super protective. And if she doesn't, she's never really managed, but man, if she doesn't know something, she'll study up till she does.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, you know, that's totally working for me, and I feel
Good.
safe, and I feel like somebody's got my back, and so and we love each other, and it's hilarious. So there's that. So right now, I am very proud to say, and it's gone on for a few years now, I literally have no assholes in my life. There are no, I've done it. I mean, I'm knocking on wood, because I've always managed to have, you know, I don't know if I thought I needed somebody to be a jerk in my life, you know,
Yeah.
but I've always had those people. And right now, ain't nothing but love. And it feels so good.
That's awesome. See, there is a happy ending.
See, look at that.
Look at that. Hey, I feel another song coming on.
Happy endings with me have to probably be about a massage parlors.
Probably. Well, we won't talk about that. I ask everyone this, and I don't mean it to sound corny, but
Are you going to send me to a desert island or
I
something?
know, in a champagne glass. So, what advice would you give someone that's just getting started in a music career?
You know, it's such a different place nowadays. You know, the thing that I loved about when we started out was like we had to work our tails off. We would go out at night with those posters and a stapler and hit the telephone poles and run from the police. And you know, you worked really hard, and you understood that, you know, the value. I mean, you never got paid. Sometimes you got paid in tokens. One time we got paid in a box of steaks, and we all got food poisoning. You know, I mean, you have. I know it sounds horrible that you have to sort of suffer for your craft, but you have to appreciate. You know, when they say paying dues, it's a matter of appreciating. Sometimes I worry about kids nowadays, you know, like America's Got Talent or something like that, where you could come along and instantly be famous, you know, and it's like that's a recipe for disaster. There's the fame and the that's the most dangerous part of this business. And I really, really appreciate the fact that I kind of was going up that road, and then I didn't, you know, had I kept going and getting more famous at the time when I, you know, after Only Lonely and after Suddenly Last Summer, if that had kept going up and up and I'd become a megastar, I'm so glad I didn't. I know that sounds silly, but I'm really glad I didn't, because I probably would have been dead by now. I just, you know, you lose, you know, you're living in a bubble. You're living in a world where you don't pay a bill, you don't understand the value of anything. You're kind of, because everybody takes care of everything for you, and whatever you want, they give you. You know, whether it's drugs or whatever. You know, I mean, we know from the last, you know, few years that, you know, from Petty to Michael Jackson to, you know, it's horrible. It's horrible. And so, first of all, just take your time. Well, you're not going to take your time. I take that back. Understand that what you have is, well, the first thing you got to do is make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. You know, make sure you're doing it because you have something you want to say, not because there's somebody you want to be. It's not about who you want to be. It's about what you want to say. So make sure that that's your first priority. And I think if you follow that and try to avoid the trappings of what it will make you into, because fame is going to make you into something. That, you know, just be aware of that. Be very aware of that. And if you're in it for that, there are people that are just celebrities, you know, there are. And to me, there's two camps. Like there's like Frank Sinatra was an entertainer. He was a very good entertainer, and his greatest to me, his greatest talent was he found the best songs ever and the best arrangers and the best, but he wasn't an artist. I think of an artist as a person that creates something, and an entertainer as somebody who presents something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be an entertainer, if you want to be famous, if that's your drive, well, that's fine too, you know? If you want to be an artist, just remember you're doing it to say something and not to be something. So that's all.
It's a great message.
Thank you.
Yep. It's a great message. So what's next for Martha Davis?
All my little projects, going to try to see if I can make them happen, you know? It's just, because it's all just, you never know. Everything you do in this business is on spec. That means you expect to get paid someday, but you don't necessarily
expect to get paid. That's hilarious.
Most of the time you don't. I can't tell you how much stuff I've done for free and never, or that's cost me, you know, that I've paid for, and you know, it never happens. But it's the only way you can do it, especially nowadays, because there's no companies that are going to come pick up a young artist and say, oh yeah, here's some money for an album. Those days are gone. But thank God it got replaced with your own home recording situation, so you can do it yourself. It's just gonna get my projects done, all of them. Hopefully the TV show will get picked up. That'll be fun. We'll get this crazy new musical going, get the Motels new album, Escape from Planet Earth, done, and get that out. I got my own record company now, Remarkable Records. I only make vinyl. Awesome. So do you want vinyl? Oh, and then there's the, do you have a turntable? You must have a turntable.
I have several.
Oh, you have several. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the jazz album. I have my standards album, which I released last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have that, and then I have and I'll send you the Last Few Beautiful Days on vinyl too.
Oh.
But Franny will send them to you.
You know, the coolest thing about life to me, Martha, is it's been, for all of us, it's been a kind of a quirky path, but throughout my quirky route that I've taken, some by choice, some by accident, I've met the coolest people, and it keeps intersecting with just great people, you know, and it just keeps you going down the road.
I know. And that's the thing, is like, I can't stand to see what's going on right now with the division and with everything that's happening with people today, and how far politics has driven us away from.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Horrible.
Yes.
It's now we got a pandemic we're dealing with. First of all, I believe people are very I think people are very superstitious.
Yeah.
Very superstitious. And I think that the superstition, because there's a part of us that just does that foot back in like the old days. I think that every time a century turns over, I think we get nervous about it, you know, like the next 100 years. Oh, that's going to be, well, this time it was a millennium that flipped over. You know, we went into 2000. Not only did we go into 2000, we went into Y2K. We were going to die on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. That was huge. Yeah. Everybody was getting new computers, and oh my God.
It was crazy. And then the next thing we had was 9/11.
Yeah.
And so we have been, and then the powers that be, and mostly politicians and a lot of media have jumped on this thing. It's like, you know, it's kind of, if it bleeds, it leads kind of situation, where, you know, the fear stuff was selling, you know, people were, and so we started getting fed a lot of fear-based nonsense. So we have become so terrified in the last 20 years that and when people are just like any other animal, you know, if you freak out a dog or a cat, or you're going to get bit or scratched or something, you know, we have become mean because we're frightened. And
Right.
I just think we need to calm ourselves down. I wish we could hug each other because that helps, the little
Oh
oxytocin.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's been so difficult to watch people drive each other away from each other. I mean, I live out in a very rural area, and there's a lot of Trump supporters up here, and they're my dear neighbors, and I love them completely.
Right.
And here's the deal, you know, these are not stupid people. These are hardworking, ingenious, wonderful people.
Right.
This has nothing to do with, you know, because I know that I heard that so much, you know, like, oh, these people are dumb. Nobody's dumb. It's not a matter of dumb. It's been we've sadly been manipulated a lot by media and by
Oh,
politics,
no doubt.
and it's just not, it's not right, you know. It's just I have so many theories. I mean, I could go on forever. It's like, you know, this TV show I'm doing, it has a lot to do with, you know, African American history in this country. And guess what? It wasn't about race. And originally, when this country started, everybody was indentured servants, and
Yeah.
blacks and whites worked right next to each other.
Right.
There was no racial issue. It became a racial issue when the powers that be, in other words, the money people, decided, well, you know, maybe it's not too good that if the black people and the white people all get together, well, then they might overthrow us.
Right.
So we want to separate them. So we'll come up with a nice story about how this person over here is fucked up and this person over here, you know, it's just like, and we, you know, sadly we get manipulated. I think humans are good people. I think if you see children, nobody's racist, you know.
Nope.
Babies don't come out racist. This is all taught. Politics is taught, you know. We need to be kind to each other, and we need to give each other solace during this time. And we need to, instead of being frightened, we need to come up with answers and fix things. That's all. Okay, I'm done.
No, I'm with you, lady. Right on.
I think we'll be better. I think we're gonna get through this and get this pandemic sorted out. And the one thing it has done, and even Trump did, is, you know, we've had the scab has been removed from our festering sore, and we need to now, you know, heal it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
We need to heal, and I think we've got everything. We've got the brains and the power, and we could do it. We just need to have the will, you know. So, but I just believe that everyone should try their best to live in grace and to live with, you know, with as much love in your hearts as you can possibly muster. Because, like I said, nature she's not nice.
No.
It's not easy. This is not easy. It's not supposed to be.
Right.
So just, you know, be cool to each other and try to help each other out.
Right. Exactly. You know what? I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to sing one line from Suddenly Last Summer.
It happened one summer. It happened one time. It happened forever. For a short time. A place for a moment. An end to a dream. Forever I loved you. Forever it seemed. One summer. There you go.
You just keep going. I'm not going to stop you. Are you kidding? I'm like totally digging this. I'm being serenaded by Martha Davis. Really? I ain't saying a word. You just keep going. Lady, you are so much fun. I have had a blast. Oh my God. I really have. You're awesome.
Well, I appreciate you having me over to the bar, and I'll have to make it over there one of these days.
I swear, if you ever get anywhere close to Dallas, I don't care where you are, you know, you get anywhere close and we'll find a bar and we'll have a drink. I want to meet you in person. It's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list now.
We'll do that, and we will do that when we can hug it up.
This is really huge for me. So I've really been looking. No, it really is. And I've, because I love your music, still listen to it. I still have an iPod.
I do too. It's full of my songs.
I have the iPod Classic, and I have at least 2 of your albums.
Well, you're gonna enjoy. I hope you enjoy the new jazz album, and of course, The Last Few Beautiful Days on vinyl is wonderful. And
Yeah.
but the jazz, I think that it's called I Have My Standards, and it's called that because they're all songs I wrote, so they're not really standards. Nobody's ever heard them before, but yeah, it was a really fun album. We made it old school. We made it in like one day.
Wow.
Yeah. So we made it in 2010, and it took me this long to get it out. But now that I have my own record label, so there you go.
Isn't that cool? I guess there's a huge difference from making that first album to the last one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the process is just like night and day.
Yeah. What's really astounding about me is how little I know about my business. I'm just not one of those people that likes to clutter my brain with that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
So that's where Franny comes in. She's good at sorting all that out. But yeah, we have a good pressing plant we work with, and so I'm going to be, there'll be more records in the making. So, yay!
That's awesome. Martha, I want to thank you so much for being on my show today. It's been a blast.
It's been so much fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I wish you and your family and all your farm animals and all the motels happiness and continued success.
Thank you. And the same to you, to all of us.
Guys, you can follow the Motels by going to their website at themotels.com. Also, you can go wherever you buy your music and get some of the Motels. I'll have links in the description below, so all you have to do is click, and I'll make it just that easy for you. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with Martha and I today, and please like and share this video, and then click subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free, and then click that tiny bell to receive notifications when I post something new. That will wrap this episode of Barside Jive, and until next time, peace, love, and rock and roll.
Yahoo!
Thank you again. Thank you.
My pleasure. You have a wonderful day, DC. And
you do the same, Martha. Take care of yourself.
I will.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Barside Jive shall not be responsible for any incorrect or inaccurate information caused by this broadcast. Barside Jive does assume, however, all responsibility for the satirical nature of its content and for the occasional fictional nature of its content. All characters appearing in this broadcast, even those based on real people, except for our featured guests, of course, are entirely fictional, and any resemblance between them and any persons living dead or undead is purely a miracle.